Hello there everyone. So today's video is we're gonna be changing our tie rod on a Dodge Journey, and of course this is gonna be pretty much almost the same on every vehicle, but this video is gonna be for Dodge Journey because that's what I have right now. The tools that you're gonna be needing is a flathead screwdriver, a plier, bar extension bars, ratchets, sockets, rubber mallet, some penetration, just because maybe they are very rusty, or they got stuck, and then of course some lubricant, and of course you need also some thread locker for our inner tie rod, and of course you will be also needing inner tie rod tool remover. So this tool is only for inner tie rod remover, and of course you will be also needing your outer tie rod. So this is going to be the outer tie rod. This is what's going to be look like, and of course you're also needing your inner tie rod. So this is going to be the inner tie rod, what's going to be look like. So just check your manual book or your Google what's going to be the type of inner and outer tie rod on your vehicle, because it's not going to be the same, but the concept or how you're gonna change your inner tie rod and outer tie rod is gonna be pretty much all the same on every vehicle. So the first step on changing in our inner tie rod is getting our car lifted up. So either you got a jack or a jack stand or a lift machine, so whatever you have. So right now I have a jack and a jack stand, and then I already jack my car, so it's already nice and solid, or it's not moving anymore. So give it a quick shake just in case there's any movement. And let's remove our tires on our passenger side. So I'm gonna do it first the passenger side before I go on the driver's side. So yeah, let's remove our tire. Now just take our tires and we can safely put it under our car. There we go. And so our tie rod is gonna be over on the back side of our rotor. This is gonna be our tie rod. So this is your outer tie rod, and then this is gonna be your inner tie rod. So the first thing we need to do is turn our rotor to the other side, so it's gonna be easier. We have more room to work on it. Just like that. So just we have more extra space to work in our car, so it's not gonna be that very tight. So now let's remove our outer tie rod. So just grab your socket. It's gonna be a 3/4 size, and then you can grab your extension bar or a ratchet. Break it. Now once you take off your nut, you can put it on the side for now, and then just lift your inner tie rod. There you go. So normally some of the car, they get stuck, or they cannot be removed that easily, but on my situation you can easily just pop it up right like that. So yeah, so that's the first step. And now just grab your size 22 wrench, and then an extra wrench or adjustable wrench to just to put on your outer tie rod to hold it together, because this gonna be they might be stuck together. So just put it in here. Then there's gonna be this nut that we need to loosen up or take it off a bit. So yeah, let's loosen a bit. And once you loosen that, you can take this one. So now what we're gonna do is we have to take off our outer tie rod from the inner tie rod. So from our outer tie rod pointing down, we wanna take off our outer tie rod spinning, and then counting out how many spin we got before we take off completely our outer tie rod from our inner tie rod. So I grab a vice grip because it was not that easy to take off. It gets stuck, so I have this vice grip to help me to hold it together. So from the bottom, So that's one from pointing down. So let's just continue to take it off and then continue count how many round before we take off our outer tie rod. Okay, let's continue. Then there you go. So I take off already the outer tie rod. It's very stuck really good in there. It's not that easy to turn, but it should be easy to turn. And then now let's continue to also to remove our nuts in here so we can take off our boot from the inner tie rod. So yeah. Then just completely loose your nut, and next thing is we can now go inside and then take off our inner tie rod. So to take off our inner tie rod, we need to take off first our boot. So there is this clamp that we need to take off. So just grab your pliers and then loose it there a bit. There. So with our clamp, put it on the side. What we can do is we can spray some lubricant here or WD-40, so they're gonna be easily to slide off our boot. So just grab your flat head screwdriver and then let's put it under, and then just put some lubrication inside. There you go. So they're gonna be easier to take off. After removing our clamp in here, there will be another clamp inside the on the other side, but it's hard to see on the camera. But that you just need to grab your flat screwdriver and then just pop it up like that. So the clamp is gonna be taken off from the inside, but I cannot show you on the camera because it's very tight, or it's very hard to see on the camera. So or also in a personal. And so after taking your clamp inside that boot, you can just slide our boot directly all the way out, so we can take off our inner tie rod. Now just slide or take off our boot. So that's gonna be our inner tie rod, and this is what's gonna be look like in our inner tie rod. So we're gonna grab our special tool for inner tie rod. So this thing is just gonna go around this around over here. So let's just slide our inner tie rod tool over here, and then let's give it a tight. So once you got it into place, grab your size 14 wrench and then let's tighten our nut in here. So this is what it's gonna be look like once you put your inner tie rod tool remover, and then after that you can grab your extension bar and then put it directly there, and then just grab your ratchet and then let's break it apart, our inner tie rod. So yeah. So once you break your inner tie rod, we can go ahead and then take off our inner tie rod tool remover and then continue to loose this one by hand. So yeah. So just take off your inner tie rod tool, grab your wrench, then just take off our inner tie rod tool. There you go, and then continue to loose this one all the way until you take it off. There, so our inner tie rod is off. So that's what's gonna be look like when we take it off. Now we can grab our washer. So there's a washer in here. So by the way, this was the clamp that I was talking earlier, that's very hard to see on the camera, or it's very hard to see on personal also. So just put your flat screwdriver here and then just give it a twist, and then this is gonna be just only one time use. The temporary fix for this one, or the temporary solution, is you put a zip tie if you don't have the extra clamp. And then of course, so this is gonna be our brand new tie rod, and then this was our older tie rod, inner tie rod. And of course, unfortunately they have a different washer. So this was the old washer, and then this was the new washer, but it has this kind of pointy going up. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna reuse this old washer and then put on the brand new tie rod, and then that's what I'm gonna put in putting our brand new tie rod. So yeah, and then by the way, don't forget to put your thread locker before you put it. Before we install our inner tie rod, make sure to clean first our parts in here. So I already wipe it off, clean it off. So this is what it's gonna be look like when you put your inner tie rod. It's gonna go inside here, and then just roll it and then give it a tight. So yeah, first is let's put some thread locker on our threads in here. So it's gonna stay there, it's not gonna come loose. Just put around, not too much, our thread. Now directly put it inside our inside. So directly put it inside. So after tightening our inner tie rod, so by the way, this is gonna be a 65 to 75 foot-pound. If you, I did torque my inner tie rod off camera, so I didn't show it already. But you can torque it yourself, and then just take off your inner tie rod tool, so you can install our boot. And just grab your wrench again, and then remove our inner tie rod tool. There you go. So that's our inner tie rod. And now take off this glue cap, and then take off our nut in here, so we can slide our inner boot. And grab your boot. And what I did here is I already put a zip tie on the boot, so I can just easily slide it in there, because it's very tight in there to put our zip tie. So I just slide already one zip tie here, so, and then I just slide it directly in there. Okay, so let's slide our boot. By the way, you wanna make sure to clean first your boot before putting it back, and then just slide it all the way there. Okay. There you go. And after putting our inner boot, let's put our nut again inside. So let's just pull it all the way. After putting our nut in here, go ahead and then grab your outer tie rod, and then let's count from the bottom. From the bottom in here, and then let's count it going inside. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So after putting our outer tie rod, now let's roll back our castle in here, and then let's tie them together. Then just grab again your 22 wrench, and then give it a tight. Then once you give it a tight, take off your vice grip, put it inside our holes in here, put it back in here, and then put our nut under, so, and then give it a tight. And then after, go ahead and then grab your torque, and then let's torque this one into 60 foot-pound, to make sure that we don't over tighten or we are not loose in our nut. So torque it to 60 foot-pound. There. So that's good. And then yeah, that is how you install a tie rod on a Dodge Journey, but it's gonna be pretty much on the almost the same on every car, but there might be different on other car. But yeah, that's our video for now. That's how you change your inner and outer tie rod or tie rods. See you next time.